So the Cherokee are an eastern band of Native American. They started out in like Virginia, Tennessee, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and thousands of them were removed from their homes and sent to Oklahoma, to a reservation in Oklahoma, as a part of the Trail of Tears. And that's a story that you will learn about as you grow in your academic career as you get older. But early on, one of the tribal members realized that written language was important. And even though he didn't have written language and his people, the Cherokee, didn't have written language, he decided to do something about it. And this is his story. Sequoyah, the Cherokee Man Who Gave His People Writing, by James Rumford, translated by Anna Sixpiller Huckabee. And this is an award winner. It is a Robert F. Seibert honor book. I'm going to read the inside flap. So there's no pictures here. The story of Sequoyah is a tale of an ordinary man with an extraordinary idea: to create a writing system for the Cherokee Indians and turn his people into a nation of readers and writers. The task he set for himself was daunting. Sequoyah knew no English and had no idea how to capture speech on paper. But slowly and painstakingly, ignoring the hoots and jibes of his neighbors and friends, he worked out a system that surprised the Cherokee Nation and the world of the 1820s with its beauty and simplicity. James Rutherford Sequoyah is a poem to celebrate literacy, a song of a people's struggle to stand tall and proud. Sequoyah. To my father, Sidney Rumford, who would stop the car to read every historic marker and who would certainly have told us this story. California, 1958. Look at the tall trees, says my father. The redwoods. They are redwood trees. They have been alive for thousands of years. They're called the giant sequoias. Where did the name come from? It came from the name of a Cherokee Indian man who was alive when the United States was new. And see this? That's what I just read written in English. And this is what I just read that was written in Cherokee. This Sequoyah must have been famous, we say. He must have fought bravely and led his people well. He must have been as tall and as strong as those trees. Yes, my father says, but not as you might think. See, look right here. That's right there. That is a word written in Sequoyah, or written in Cherokee. This man was called Sequoyah. This man called Sequoyah was crippled. He was born in eastern Tennessee in 1760s, the son of a Cherokee woman and a white man he never knew. For much of his life, Sequoyah was nobody famous. He was a metal worker who could turn iron into chisels and drills and Georgia silver into forks and spoons. Sequoyah was not a chief, but he loved his people like one. He wanted them to stand as tall as any people on earth. He did not want them to disappear in the white man's world. He did not want their Cherokee voices to fade away. When he was 50, they say he decided to capture the people's voices in writing. The Sequoia, they tell us, knew no English and couldn't read, not even the letter A. But that didn't matter to Sequoia. I will invent writing for our people, he said. Everyone laughed. Writing will make us strong. No one believed him. Sequoia began drawing hundreds of symbols, one for each word. He scratched them with slats of wood and filled his cabin with shingles of writing. He is crazy, the people jeered. They feared his signs were evil. We should teach him a lesson, the neighbors hooted. They saw no use for writing. Let's burn down his cabin, they cried. We have to make him stop. So they burned his cabin down and turned his writing into smoke. But Sequoia learned a different lesson. Sometimes disaster happens for a reason. Sometimes it says, follow a different path. Sequoia, they say, gave up drawing a different symbol for each word. There were just too many marks and squiggles for anyone to remember. Instead, they tell us he invented letters to spell out the sounds of the language. When he had enough letters, about 84 or so, he began to write. His neighbors stopped laughing when Sequoia's 6-year-old daughter learned to read. The people stopped jeering when two warriors wrote to each other. This is how Sequoia wrote Ayoko's name. The people, they say, learned the Cherokee letters quickly. Mothers and fathers, brothers and sisters left notes around the house so they could teach each other to read. People took trips so they could have the fun of writing letters and sending them back home. It was not long, they tell us, before everyone was reading and writing. The Cherokee Nation praised the writing of that Sequoia invented. In 1824, they gave Sequoia a silver medal. And this is how Sequoia wrote his own name. A missionary named Worcester helped Sequoia turn his beautiful loops and spirals into sturdy English-looking symbols that can be printed with lead type. With these new signs, the Cherokee Nation published newspapers and books and made sure their words would never fade away. So this is the way Sequoia had written it, and this is what the missionary helped him change it to, so it was easier to write. Even when soldiers forced people to flee from their land and took them west in the 1830s, the Cherokee held on to their books. Even when sickness half emptied their towns, they kept their writing. Even when English-speaking teachers ruled their classrooms long after Sequoia had passed away, they remembered their letters. They never let them disappear. Now, who was the Sequoia, my father asked? He was a famous man, we say, because he invented writing for the Cherokee. He was a brave man because he never gave up. He was a leader because he showed his people how to survive, how to stand tall and proud like these trees. And I'm going to share with you Sequoia's alphabet, but I'll share it separately from this too, okay? Alright, I think we might have to have a challenge and write a note to somebody in Cherokee. Thank you for listening.
All right. So writing is as important as reading. They go hand in hand. You can check Schoology for the challenge.